Astrology forecast for the 27th of April to the 3rd of May 2026. This week exposes what's really running your life. Mercury remains the key player for the second week in a row, but the tone changes dramatically. Last week, Mercury in Aries kept the mind fast, reactive, and impatient. This week, Mercury slows as it prepares to enter Taurus, shifting the mental tempo from reaction to response. The focus moves from what needs to be said right now to what still makes sense once the adrenaline wears off. That transition shapes the entire week, especially as Friday's Scorpio full moon reveals where false stability has been quietly costing more than expected. This is a week for honest assessments and what is sustainable: habits, conversations, relationships, and coping mechanisms. The emphasis is not on what sounds good or buys time, but on what actually lasts. Clarity is available, often arriving right after illusion collapse, which is frequently how inner growth unfolds. Monday, the 27th of April, Moon is in Virgo. This is a practical truth serum. The Moon in Virgo opens the week with a sharp awareness of inefficiencies and small persistent drains on energy. Emotions are filtered through practical reality. The key Virgo question is less, why is this happening? And more, what system could make this easier? This can show up as the impulse to reorganize a workspace, fix scheduling issues, edit something that is nearly right, or acknowledge that a routine may be built around weak boundaries. Virgo can also highlight resentment that accumulates when someone repeatedly cleans up other people's messes. Focus is simply to simplify rather than spiral. Improvement is more valuable than perfection. Identify one push point and make it better through a small, concrete adjustment. Tuesday, the 28th of April 2026. Venus is in Gemini, trine Pluto in Aquarius. This brings about magnetic conversation. This is one of the most socially interesting transits of the week. Venus in Gemini, trine Pluto in Aquarius brings verbal magnetism. Conversations deepen quickly. Attraction becomes more mental and layered, and a casual exchange can reveal hidden truths or deeper desires. In real life, this may look like a text conversation that pivots from playful to revealing, strong brainstorming, or social chemistry that carries weight. Pluto adds intensity and depth. Aquarius adds pattern recognition. Gemini supplies the language to name what's happening. The focus is to let curiosity lead without using detachment as a shield. This transit rewards meaningful questions, honest conversation, and a creative collaboration that is willing to go beyond surface level chatter. Wednesday, the 29th of April 2026. Moon is in Libra. This brings balance, reciprocity, and realness. The Moon in Libra seeks balance, but not the performative kind. This transit heightens sensitivity to fairness, tone, reciprocity, and the unspoken emotional mathematics inside relationships. It often surfaces through social negotiations, smoothing misunderstandings, noticing over-accommodation, or recognizing that keeping the peace has become labor that was never consciously agreed to. Libra sees both sides. Helpful until it becomes paralysis or people-pleasing disguised as kindness. The focus here is elegant honesty. Truth does not require a fight, but resentment does not need to be carried quietly either. The most useful outcome is communicating clearly with enough tact that the message can actually be received. Thursday, the 30th of April 2026. The Moon is in Scorpio. This brings depth, desire, and what's unspoken. The Moon in Scorpio pulls attention underground. It has little interest in emotional small talk and instead amplifies instinct, desire, suspicion, emotional intensity, and the urge to control outcomes. This can show up as reading between the lines, feeling more guarded than usual, obsessing over motives, or realizing that a situation thought to be handled is actually loaded with unspoken emotion. Scorpio isn't interested in surface management. It wants the hidden material. The focus now is to go honest before going dramatic. Investigate internal motives first. If something feels charged, identify the fear underneath it. If defensiveness arises, identify what feels exposed. Friday, the 1st of May, 2026. Full moon is in Scorpio and Venus is sextile Saturn. Mercury is conjunct Chiron, and this is a turning point. Friday is the pivot. The Scorpio full moon brings what has been buried, avoided, resented, or emotionally deferred into full view. With the Sun in Taurus craving stability and the new moon in Scorpio exposing what stability has cost, this lunation highlights truth around control, fear, attachment, and emotional debt. Supportive tools accompany this intensity. While Venus in Gemini sextile Saturn in Aries brings maturity to relationship dynamics, affection with standards, charm with self-respect, and clearer choices about what is viable in reality, not just in fantasy. Mercury conjunct Chiron in Aries cuts to the heart of old wounds around confidence, anger, and the right to take up space. Sharp words can appear, but beneath them is usually something vulnerable asking to be acknowledged. The focus here is constructive truth-telling, clear boundary setting, honest confession, and communication that future self-respect would endorse, not performative honesty and not explosive honesty. Saturday, the 2nd of May 2026, Mercury enters Taurus. This brings from revelation to application. Mercury entering Taurus changes the pace. Thinking becomes slower, steadier, and more grounded. After Friday's emotional exposure, this transit supports stabilizing what was learned. It reduces interest in quick reactions and increases interest in proof, consistency, and follow through. In daily life, this often increases desire for a plan, a budget, a timeline, or a straightforward conversation where accountability is not treated as an insult. The focus here is to build a practical container for the truth. Choose one solid next step based on what the week revealed. Sustainable decisions matter more than dramatic declarations. Sunday, 3rd of May, 2026. Moon is in Sagittarius. This brings perspective and oxygen. The moon in Sagittarius opens emotional windows after several heavy days. Feelings seek space, humor, honesty, and a wider frame. This can restore optimism and remind the psyche that life is larger than a single emotional crisis. Sagittarius can sometimes leap too quickly to the lesson and skip the feelings, so the balance is widening perspective without bypassing what happened. The focus here is to integrate meaning without turning it into a sermon. Keep the frame wide, but stay honest about the emotional reality that led here. This week is built for honest evaluation of what is sustainable. Slow down enough to hear what is true. Let the revelation land. Let the necessary conversation happen, and let better choices follow. Perfection is not the goal. Honesty is. From there, something that genuinely lasts can be built. This is Raven Moon. Thank you for joining us.